Moment of truth. Oh, ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. I think I can flap wheel enough off of that caliper to make it work. I really do. Was just rubbing right there on that corner, and that's not gonna hurt anything. Take a little off there, and I'm gonna take a little down. You know, just kind of polish it up a little. I just got the seat back from the upholsterer for that Impala. It had springs broken, so when you sit down, man, you went all the way to the floor. And the guy got it patched up, put in a little bit of new piping in a panel where the seat was torn, and it looks really nice. You know, I was putting in 16-hour days working on this thing right up to the last minute. And I was telling my son how everything was just right down to the wire. You know, I had the seat at the upholstery shop, and he said, well, maybe next Thursday. And so I called him Wednesday, and I said, well, I'm not pushing you, but I got an appointment to get the alignment done tomorrow morning. Do you think you're going to have that seat done, or on Friday morning? Do you think you'll still be getting it done Thursday? And he goes, yeah, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Well, tomorrow was Thursday. And he did get it done, and he called me late, and I went and got it, and I got the seat installed, and the brakes working just in time to get it to the alignment shop and get the alignment done after I'd done all that front end work. And it was that way all the way through. And my son said, have you been recording all that? Because that's like one of those reality TV shows. And I said, no, I didn't record it. I haven't had time to record. But it was like one of those reality shows where they're going, oh, those wheels got to get here by 5:30 because we got to have that car on the trailer by 6 and all that. And that's just how it was. Only difference is, you know, with me, I don't have 17 people to come in at night and do all the work like they do on the TV shows. It's just me. So, but that's how it was, right to the last minute. Okay, my original wheels obviously would not fit over the calipers. Now, I even took a rotor and caliper down to the tire shop before they mounted those tires on my wheels, and I tried them, and it looked like they were going to fit. It looked like they were going to clear the calipers with maybe a 1/4 inch spacer. So I thought I could shave just a little off those calipers with the flap wheel, put a 1/4 inch spacer on there, and it really looked like they were going to work. But they just wouldn't quite clear where that center part of the wheel, it's like spokes, I guess, for lack of a better word, where it fits to the rim, that would catch on the caliper when it goes around, and I just didn't want to take very much off of that caliper. I didn't want to start grinding on it, you know, and so and I had a lot of people saying this wheel will fit and that wheel will fit, and Monte Carlo, and yeah, I know. And everybody's just trying to help, and I appreciate that. But what I really needed was somebody to say, hey, I've got a set of wheels that'll fit that car. And that was not happening. And I called all the wrecking yards, and, you know, that stuff's just not laying around like it used to be, fellers. I'm sure now people are going to tell me I got them. Well, you know, I know some S10 wheels will fit too. And if I just can't stand it, you know, and have to have those original wheels and wheel covers on there, then when I get time, I will seek out some wheels that will fit and clear the calipers, and ones that I can still run my original hubcaps or wheel covers. So not a big deal. But anyway, I did what I had to do at the time, and I looked on FaceSpace Marketplace, and there was a set of wheels and pretty good looking wheels. I mean, if you're going to go to a custom wheel, if I had to get away from the original, this is the wheel. It is the one. And you know, they're kind of starting to grow on me. It's what we would have done back in the day. Everybody would have got rid of those original wheels and put custom wheels on there if they could afford it. So I'll let you take a look at what I have, and it's not the result that I was really looking for, but like I said, they're kind of growing on me, and if I want to go back to original, I can, but this is what I wound up with, and you guys can tell me in the comments if you like them or if you don't like them, but it's just what I had to do in the amount of time that I had. In the time frame I was working with, I just couldn't chase down any other wheels, so this is it. Well, earlier today, I had a complete running, driving vehicle. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Then I came home, tore it all apart. Yeah, ain't that smart? Whoa, what's that shiny new thing? Wow. What's this shiny new thing? Wow, again. I think I'm going to call it a half a day and go home. Yep, I've just about had it. See y'all tomorrow. Well, I discovered a bad U-joint on this thing. And when I took it out, of course, the carrier bearing fell all apart. Of course I can't get one until Tuesday. Yeah, and that's the way it goes. Well, I got my U-joints done, pinion seals done, but the carrier bearing is not here yet. It hasn't come in. I had to order it, but I had to put the drive shaft back in anyway with the old carrier bearing because I have to take this car right now to the appraiser. A guy used to be an insurance adjuster, and now he's a classic car appraiser, a neighbor. So he's gonna write me up a affidavit or whatever you call it, something I can take to the insurance company and put a pile of insurance on this thing, just in case it were to get stolen or something. I don't know, I hope not, but I'm gonna put a couple of GPS trackers in it too, and I'm gonna hide them. I know how to hide them pretty good too. What do you think about that? You know, when I was about 12 years old, my dad was getting ready to put kingpins in an old Chevy truck, about like old Fred out there, an old 1949, 50, something like that. And he put the kingpins in the freezer. Now, we didn't have money to take anything to a machine shop or anything like that. But he put the kingpins in the freezer and shrink them so they'd fit into the spindles better, and it worked, you know. So I got the drive shaft in the freezer here. And I got the carrier bearing in there in the oven. I can't leave it in there very long because it's got that rubber on it, but it'll warm that bearing up a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Okay, that just worked slicker than snot on a brass doorknob. That bearing just practically fell on there after heating it up and put this in the freezer, and at least it fell on far enough for this bolt to catch, and then I could pull it all the way on. It came off pretty hard, but boy, it went on easy. I told my son I was mechanicking on a molecular level tonight, and it works. I got to get this put back in there, and then that's it for the mechanicals. I'll be done with the mechanicals. There's some cosmetics to do if I get around to it, but if I don't, that's okay. This is a little dinged up right here, and I got a brand new one right over there in that tube. But if I don't do it here, maybe I'll do it on the road. Well, I got to shuffle a couple of rigs around here. The Dirty Dozen's going to come inside, just because I don't want to buy 9 gallons of antifreeze for it. And the little brown mouse, where's the little brown mouse? There it is. That's going to go over here in the bay, lift bay. So let's get to shuffling. We got to shuffle, so Let's do the barnyard shuffle here. The rat rod shuffle. That's it. Okay. Let's see can we fire this old boy up. That didn't sound like a whole lot was going on there. It usually starts pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. We got any choke? Can't remember if we got choke anywhere. We got ignition. Alright, see if we got any contact. Clear! Good. Well, I got my trunk pretty well organized here. I got my Widowmaker bumper jack in there, and then I've got a floor jack I'm going to throw in. It's right over there, and I got my Harbor Freight trunk organizer. Boy, what a deal. I may go get another one and tuck it up over here. Got me some jack stands and a tarp to lay on, and my coveralls, and my rattle guns, and then over here we got our little Harbor Freight toolbox, and we got the necessities in here, a big hammer, and some channel locks, and we got some vice grips and crescent wrenches and a pry bar and a couple of spare U-joints and some screwdrivers and whatnot, and then U-joint, and then of course a fella always wants to carry a little bit of extras with him, just in case. Alright, let's roll. A few nights ago I went out to the shop about 10 o'clock, and there was a skunk in there eating Joshua's cat food, so I thought, well, I better close up the shop, and I closed down the big garage doors and closed all the walk-through doors, and the next morning all the cat food was gone because he figured out how to get through the cat door. So I put a live trap out there and caught him, because if I was going to take a road trip, I couldn't have him in there eating all the cat food. So I caught him. I took him up and released him by the state park. I figured it'd be good if he got to know some of the campers up there, and well, he didn't seem to mind. He sure was a friendly little feller. He just kind of sniffed around and checked me out and checked out my boots and then went on his merry way. He didn't seem to have a problem with me, and I really didn't have a problem with him, so it all worked out pretty good. So, the night before I was supposed to leave, this happened. Well, ain't this a revolting development? I was out here trying to adjust the headlights, and when I got done, I noticed there's a stool right there, and then I noticed there's antifreeze all over the ground. And then I noticed that it appeared to be a little seepage back there at the bottom of that heater box. And then I noticed inside there's antifreeze dripping in the floor. So it would appear that I have a leaking heater core. Now, I can just loop these hoses together here and keep going, but it's October. At some point I'm going to need a heater. And I don't know if I should cancel my trip or try and change that thing on the road somewhere. Man, I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Heavy Chevy? I posted that little clip on Instagram, and I was just kind of joking around about canceling the trip. But one gentleman commented and said, yeah, you better cancel because, you know, you're probably going to hit some bad weather. And my response was, have you met Whalen Wire? I had mentioned in a previous video that I had a guy who was going to stay here while I'm gone and keep the gate locked and the guns loaded. And that happened. So the next day, this happened. Well, I just locked the gate. No mistaking that old Power Glide whine, is there? You know, as they say, journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Or, in this case, hammer down, pedal to the metal, let her roll. Come on, back door.
70. That's just where it wants to run. But Montana's under construction. I think they're rebuilding every bridge in Montana. They have to slow down 35 miles an hour. But anyway, yeah, so first day, uneventful, didn't get too far. Second day, somewhere in the middle of Montana, that's a Merle Haggard song, you know. I ran out of gas. And I had put a new sending unit in this thing. Here a while back, I cleaned the old sending unit up and got it working. And it worked for a while, then it quit. So I thought, well, before I make this trip, I want to put a new one in, make sure it's working. And it did. The gas gauge was working. Well, somewhere in Montana it stopped working. And I started looking at the odometer and I go, boy, that's a lot of miles. I better put some gas in this thing. Well, I didn't even, boom. And that was out. I was about 3 or 4 miles from the gas station. But you know, Whalen got some gas in the truck. You know, I got a gas can back there. So I dumped some gas in it. Away it went. I didn't film it because I was right out on the freeway, and you know, I just didn't want to be there any longer than I had to, setting up the camera and all that. But that's what happened. You can hear whistling noise in here, the window whistling, and show you why, tell you why, I guess. As you know, my heater core decided to start leaking in the floorboard, so I plugged the heater hoses. It's cold this morning. Miles City, Montana, it was cold at daylight. I usually leave a little before daylight. About 5:30 or so. So I had to pull over and install my little heater. I got a little 12-volt space heater in here. And it helps a little bit. It kind of takes the chill off the air. But I had a heater core shipped to Chevy Impala, and when I get there, if he's got time, we'll try and put it in. If not, I'll try and make it to my daughter's place in Grand Rapids, and I'll put it in there. I'm just hoping it's the right one, because, man, every place I looked was out of stock. Couldn't get anyone, or Riley's now, I couldn't get them anymore, and this and that. And so I found one on Summit. I hope it looks like the right one, but I hope they connected the picture with the one I'm getting. Never know about these parts. So, yeah, that's going on. And I hate to mess with this camera while I'm driving, but I'll show you real quick. The reason it's whistling is I've got that cable running in the window over there, so I can't roll my window all the way up real tight. And there's my little space here. Let's see, what else? Oh, I got some gremlins. Yep, got a few gremlins. I was expecting them to show up. Got me a new coffee cup this morning too, boy. Better need some coffee on these cold mornings. Anyway, my headlights work fine. When I pulled in the motel night before last, headlights were fine. Got up, got ready to leave yesterday morning, the headlights didn't work. And it was before daylight, so I needed the headlights. So I can show you later, but I jumped the wire from the battery over to I just picked one of the wires on the plug one of the headlights and picked a wire that I knew was not a ground, and ran 12 volts to it, plugged it back in. Well, then they all came on, but they're stuck on brights, so some of the oncoming traffic's not too happy if you're in town. Out on the freeway don't matter, but so anyway, that's a little gremlin. something going on with my lights. Well, yesterday they healed themselves. I turned the lights on yesterday and they're working. And so they worked last night. I drove till 10 o'clock last night. Yeah, I drove 700 miles yesterday. So, the headlights worked fine. Well, this morning they didn't work good. So, when it's cold, they don't work. And we it's warmed up, they start working. I drove it around, well, I drove it, I don't know, 20 miles or so, and then I pulled over and got some gas, and the headlights started working again. So, I undid my little wire out there. Another gremlin, and it's probably related. These gremlins are probably cousins or something. Dash lights, got no dash lights, zero dash lights, no interior light. This car doesn't have a dome light in the ceiling. It has two little lights in the sound panel back there, and then it has a light under the dash. It's supposed to. None of that's working. So I got a little flashlight here if I have to, to check the gauges and stuff at night. But I don't want to jinx anything, but this thing sits on 180 temperature all day long, and Smith's reading the gauge is 50. I said 50 pounds, 55 pounds of oil pressure all day long. Knocking on wood. I don't say too much more about don't want to jinx it. But the motor's doing pretty good. I got that. I had a noisy tapping. Right before I left, I adjusted the valves a little bit, got rid of that racket, got rid of that noise, so that gives me peace of mind. I had that clicking going on, and I found it tapping a little bit loose. So, here we are, motoring along this morning. This is Thursday morning, headed for Fargo, North Dakota. Now, I was going to go north, the northern route, get off the freeway, and I'm on I-94. I'm just going to go up north, kind of swing up by the Canadian border. But I talked to Dad yesterday, and he's not feeling well. And his folks just got over. And there's just highway patrol. Got his car parked there, and he's walking. He's way this side from his car. I don't know what's going on. You ever see that movie Fargo? Oh. If you haven't, watch it. Anything by Coen Brothers is awesome. But that's another tangent. So yeah, here we are in eastern Montana, headed for North Dakota. And Dan is not feeling well, and his folks had COVID, so he may be exposed. I don't want to get sick. So I'm really disappointed, but I don't think I'm going to get to meet up with Dee Dee's Speed Shop.